see how long we can edit it. Yes, happy Saturday to you all. You're so welcome, Avery. I hope you like them all. Which one did you get, Avery? I can't remember. Did you guys see the gas showdown? Are you excited as I am? I found 4. 4 to review. I'm very excited. Oh, Hamilton cereal. Oh, yeah, it's a great one. It's a great slime. No question. I think after we do... Hey, Gigi. Gigi, did you get the surprise that I sent you? I don't remember which of your boxes it was in, but I sent you something very special. What I was going to say was, I think after I do this gasoline thing, my next journey is going to be to find the best thick and glossy. So we can have something similar to Hamilton. We'll see. I'm glad you got it though. One more, just one last one, right? I know you used your last one last week, so I was like, you could have just one more pistachio. Just one more. It's kind of funny, right? In case anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, I sent Gigi so Gigi posted that she was using the last of her pistachio espresso pods, and she was sad because they don't sell them anymore, and I had one more sleeve, so I took one of my last sleeve and I sent it to her in her last order so she could have just one more pistachio coffee. Oh, that was a cute little extra, just like bonus, like bing. I don't know, I thought it was silly. Good morning, good morning. It's still in the container. I laughed. Oh, you laughed out. Yeah, I laughed. When I thought of it, I was like, this is good. She's gonna like this. I thought of that. I was like, and it fit perfectly in the jar. That's right. It sure did. Well, because I didn't want it to get. Yes, Susan. I'm gonna go through all those today and tomorrow. Everyone who ordered supplies that already has a tracking number, we're going to the post office and UPS on the way to UCLA today to drop off your stuff. If you don't have a tracking number yet, or I didn't email you back like Susan, they'll ship on Tuesday because there's no post on Monday. Sorry about that. But I didn't have enough time to pack everything yesterday, but I want to say I packed about half yesterday. So, you know, they're still going. It's still happening. Book club and nap time for you too. Oh, good. Tell him we said sleep long. I was gonna say hi, but don't say hi. Say sleep. She's like this. She's doing medium in the car, I would say. I've found some tactics that are helping us prolong the scream time, or the quiet time before screams. Usually we can get all the way to like the last 20 minutes of a drive, and then she starts the sadness. So, I mean, it could be worse. It was worse when it was the whole drive, right? So, has to get up in like 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours of a nap would be phenomenal. I don't know. That sounds great. Can you imagine if she slept 1.5 hours right now? What a joy. It is progress, Amanda. It is progress. Adjusting to stay-at-home mom is easier or harder than expected. That's a good question. So it's a great question, actually. What I want to say about it is I think that 20 minutes is so much better than the whole time. I think that I am not fully in it yet mentally because I'm still packing up all the supplies and selling them off and mailing them to people, and like people are coming to pick up like stuff. So I'm kind of still working a little bit. I'm not working in the sense that I'm not making slime and I'm not doing restocks and all that stuff, but I am still like breaking it all down. So it doesn't feel real yet. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's a lot of transitioning. Right, exactly, Amanda. So I think it may end up being, sorry, I have to put this down, a little harder than expected just because I'm not really a sit still kind of gal. But what I am enjoying is, oh, hold on, let me fix the tripod. Sorry, guys. What I am enjoying is being able to take time to, yeah, it won't feel real till the slime room is gone. I completely agree. Even before it's fully her room, I think once all the slime stuff is out, it'll feel more real. Thank you for answering nervous about it. Yeah, I don't blame you. Can you tell me, Jordan, what you do for work? You know, I have a lot of hobbies that I would love to re-pick up, so I'm not necessarily looking for a new hobby, but I don't know if I'll have time to even do them because I have so much going on right now. What I love is being able to take her to more stuff. Like yesterday I took her to a baby music class. So cool. It was such a great little class. And I've been taking her to the park every day and things like that. Now that she can crawl, it's important for her to get to go out and do stuff, you know? So that was really important to me, like Disney Dreamlight. Oh my God. I would love to get back into Disney Dreamlight Valley. I would also love to get back into knitting. I used to knit a lot. Oh, thank you so much, Jordan. Oh, you know what? Unfortunately, we lost that one, but we will try again. She's 8 months. But I would like to go back to knitting. Before I like did slime, I used to knit all the time. Like I used to make really, really nice stuff for people. And then I might start making playbill flowers again for the Broadway Green Alliance. They messaged me yesterday out of the blue and they were like, hey, we know you don't have time to make flowers for us anymore, but, and I was like, actually, hey Renee, hey Liz, I was like, actually, maybe I can resume my volunteer work because it is important work to do stuff like that. How does 8 months and 8 days feel? I know it feels like the same. I think showing her that I step up and do things like that is also important, right? Because the Broadway Green Alliance is doing important work for the planet, and being able to say to my now daughter and in the future children, like, hey, mom participates in important things, you know, I think that's good too. My grandmother did a lot of stuff like that, and as her granddaughter, every time I see one of those old newspaper articles that were featuring her in the cool stuff that she did, I have so much pride for her, you know, because she was so cool. My grandmother was born in 1918, and when she had raised her children and everything, she went on to be the president of her women's club, and she went back to school and got a college degree in her 60s because it wasn't possible when she was 18, because she was born in 1918 and immigrant girls didn't get to do stuff like that. But she went back later and she finished it. And so like being able to look at that and say like, wow, I come from really awesome women, you know what I mean? And I want that for my daughter as well. I want her to be able to look at me and be like, she did cool stuff, so I can do cool stuff, you know? Not that you can't do cool stuff if your parents didn't, of course, but you know what I'm saying, right? It makes sense, right? That you want your kids to see you making important decisions and doing things like that. I don't know. Does any of that make sense? Feels like it does. I don't know. But I want to be able to say that I did something for the world. So anyway, that's my Yeah, it helps their drive for sure. For sure. And not that making slime isn't great, it is, and it was. It's just a different kind of time consuming than, you know, a little bit of volunteering, obviously. You are so sleepy. Before we start reading, I'm going to ask you guys a question. My question was going to be, when you're transitioning your baby from your lap to the crib when it's time for them to go to sleep at night, do any of you just stand there and hold them and kiss their little face for two reasons? First, because you love their little face and you just want to kiss it, but second, is you know that if you kiss their face before you put them down, if they don't wake up, they're not going to wake up in the transfer. I just kiss her little cheekies, and if she doesn't stir, I'm like, okay, we're good. We can just transition now. Also, because she's very cute, and it's hard not to kiss her little cheekies. I know people have mixed feelings about kissing babies' faces, but this is my baby, and she's breathing my air all the time anyway, so if I have something, she's already got it. But it's the peck test, that's right. It's like, and see, she's not stirring right now, so I know she's asleep. I have to get, I get up out of the chair too. Yeah. He's my angel. I know. I look at pictures of my little niece and I want so badly to just like kiss all over her, but I know you can't. So when I see her, instead of saying to my brother and sister-in-law, I want to kiss her face so much, I just say, what if I just bite her toes? And they laugh. I'm like, they're far enough away from her face that it won't be a problem, right? I just like, little toesies. They think it's funny. So I respect the rules. Don't worry. But I do want to bite her toes. Actually, I really want to bite her cheeks, but it's a perfect test. I agree, Gigi. Okay, so I sit in my chair for extra cuddles because I know me too, Susan, me too. We are chugging along, anti-time earlier today. Oh, wait, what, you're watching Yo? I thought you said you went to Yo Gabba Gabba Land. I was like, what's Yo Gabba Gabba Land? I know what the show is, I just didn't know, if there was a place. Okay, so this is where we're at. We're a little over halfway through the book for those who are keeping track. We are starting chapter 15 today, and it is page 259. This chapter is called A Bittersweet Reunion. I almost forgot my glasses again. Yes, and this is not a judgment call on anyone else's choices, but we haven't shown her any shows yet. I'm trying to prolong that as long as possible. I know it won't last forever. I know eventually she will watch TV and she'll watch things like that, and I have no judgment on anyone else whose kids watch them whenever they watch them. My sister's kids watch a metric ton of TV, so no judgment from me on whatever choice you make, but I haven't crossed that bridge with her yet, so she probably would love those things, but she just doesn't know that any of that exists yet, for whatever that's worth. We use Baby Einstein videos for my super colicky sister. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a very useful tactic. If anyone doesn't know, my mom said, until 1 year, that makes sense, Susan, yeah. That's probably what we'll do, probably. From a medical perspective, if your baby's colic is caused by a stomach issue, dill is very helpful and it's very safe for babies of all ages. So you can get dill oil and you can rub a little bit inside their mouth. And I didn't really need to do that with her because she didn't have a lot of tummy issues, but what I do for her now, just to prevent that as she's been transitioning into food, is I mix a little bit of dill in with her yogurt at lunch sometimes, and she loves it, and it keeps her tummy really good because yogurt has probiotics. And well, my sister was very colicky, which is why my mom did research into it. My sister was wildly colicky, and that was 37 years ago, of course, but still. So the dill helps her tummy good, and the probiotics in the yogurt. He's out in his little congestion still. Precious baby. A little snore. Their little snores are so cute though, right? Oh, it's so cute. It's like hung shu. That's what we tell her. Whenever she doesn't want to go back to sleep at night, my husband looks at her and he goes, hung shu. To try to convince her to go to sleep. Sure.
Anyway, let's read.
Chapter 15. A Bittersweet Reunion. Alex sat by her grandmother's bedside holding her hand. The fairy godmother had been sleeping peacefully since she got there. She didn't look like she had a care in the world, but Alex knew that it was her favorite facade to keep. Even as she slept, she couldn't be trusted to show her true feelings. Something was very wrong, and Alex could sense it. Are you going to tell me what the matter with her is? Alex asked. Or are you just going to sit there and make me figure out everything else on my own? Emeralda and Mother Goose sat on the other side of the bed, keeping to themselves.
You thought that was something only you did? That's really funny. Did you know we definitely do it?
Red and Froggy were there too. They stood at the foot of the bed, wishing there was something that they could do to comfort their friend. The week had proven to be a difficult one for all of them. Your grandmother's been feeling, well, very tired for a long time, Mother Goose said. She asked me not to tell anyone, and then, well, today she didn't wake up. Today is the first time I'm hearing this too, Alex, Emeralda said. She was keeping it from everyone. But what does tired mean? Alex said, becoming frustrated. Does she just need to rest? Is there anything I can get her or give her to get her to wake up? Or is she... Alex couldn't even bring herself to say it. I'm afraid there's nothing any of us can do, Mother Goose said. So, she's dying? Alex finally said. If that's what happened, or if that's what's happening, why can't either of you tell me that? Emeralda sighed, not for Alex, but for herself. Yes, she confirmed. We do believe that the fairy godmother is dying. Tears immediately ran down Alex's face. She'd always known her grandmother wouldn't be around forever, but she never expected to lose her so soon. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Alex, Red said. Please do let us know if there's anything we can do, Froggy said. Alex didn't say anything. Of course there wasn't anything they could do. The only thing that would comfort her now would be as if her grandmother woke up. I haven't even lived here a full year, Alex said through tears. My grandmother's the only family I have, and I just don't understand why this is happening. Mother Goose hoped that it would supply the young fairy with a little comfort if she explained. Your grandmother's been around for a very long time, Alex, Mother Goose told her. She worked very hard to make the fairy tale world what it is. She knew she wouldn't be around forever, and over the past couple of centuries, she's looked for someone to continue her work when she's gone. She had many apprentices, and all of them have failed, except you. In you, she finally found someone she knows will continue her legacy and continue it well. And knowing this, she's given her soul permission to move on. This only made it much worse for Alex. So what you're saying is this is my fault, she said. Had I never come to the Land of Stories or joined the Fairy Council, she'd still be here looking for a successor, and she wouldn't be in this bed, so I'm killing her? Good heavens, no, Mother Goose said. I'm trying to tell you, you're saving her. You're giving your grandmother the freedom to pass on, and that's a right every living creature deserves when it's their time to go. This was a very hard thing for Alex to hear. Had she known that with every lesson or test she passed, she was getting closer to losing her grandmother, Alex would have given it all up in a heartbeat. But she also knew that that was the last thing her grandmother wanted. How much time do we have left with her? Alex asked. Will she wake up before she goes? It's really hard to say, Emeralda said. There's always a chance. She could very well pull through this and live for another 100 years. It just all depends on how much magic she has left in here. But given the information that she shared with Mother Goose, we think it's very unlikely she'll wake up. And that's why Froggy turned back into a frog, Alex said, starting to make sense of it all. As she dies, some of her magic starts to die with her, so her most recent spells and enchantments will start to fade and wear off. Correct, Emeralda said. And it's our job to make sure the work she put in never fades away completely. Alex gently touched the side of her grandmother's face. She was such an extraordinary woman. She wouldn't be surprised if there was still a bit of magic left in her somewhere. Froggy, I'd be more than happy to change you back into a man, Alex said. It might take me a couple of tries, but I know I can do it. Froggy was touched by this gesture, especially given the situation, but he surprised the whole room with his answer. No, that's all right, he said. Red, my darling, I hope you can understand this, but I've thought it over and I have decided to stay a frog. They all were shocked to hear this, but especially Red.
Sorry, what are you saying? Red asked. What would make you come to that conclusion? Because no matter how many times I became a man, I always changed back into a frog, he explained. I think the universe is trying to tell me something, and although I put on a good show, each transformation is more exhausting than the last. Constantly having to retrain yourself how to walk and eat and to function in general, well, it takes a heavy toll. I'd much rather just choose to be one form and stick with it, and it appears being a frog is the one that I'm meant to be. Red tried her absolute best to take this news well, but after so recently losing her throne, she could not put on a brave face. Forgive me? Red said, blinking back tears. I don't mean to look as disappointed as I do, Charlie. You stood by me even as I lost my kingdom, and I know I can support you through something as trivial as this. I think it's just gonna take some getting used to, I suppose. So please excuse me because I need to go get some fresh air. Red left the fairy godmother's chambers intact, but once she was out the door, they heard her burst into tears. Alex gently placed her grandmother's hand on the bed and rose to leave. I need some air too, Alex said. I'll walk out with you, Mother Goose said. I'll stay with the fairy godmother, Emeralda said. Me too, Froggy said, and took Alex's seat. As Alex walked with Mother Goose through the halls of the fairy palace, she could tell the news about her grandmother had spread. Every fairy who passed looked at her somberly, expressing sympathy and respect as they walked by. My niece will go from wanting my phone to seeing Pam's. Yeah, they're hilarious. This is going to be hard to get through without my brother, Alex said. I would give anything to have him here to do this with me. And Mother Goose's eyes darted up and down the hall, and when they reached a vacant part of the hall, she quickly pulled Alex behind a pillar and out of sight. Alex, I need to tell you something, Mother Goose said. It's about your brother. Well, what is it? Alex asked. When your grandmother first told me how she was feeling, I immediately contacted Connor, she explained. I didn't tell him she was sick, but I sent him on a little errand to check on something for me. To check on what? Alex asked. Froggy's spell isn't the only bit of your grandmother's magic that might wear off, she said. The spell she cast to shut the portal between the world, well, that might fade as well, and I asked Connor to check it out. A roller coaster of emotions ran through Alex's body. Was it possible a bit of good news could come with this tragedy? After all, if the portal could be opened, she might get to see her brother again. Well, how long until we know? She asked. I'm still waiting to hear from him, Mother Goose said. Your grandmother's magic might be fading, but as long as there's the smallest bit left in her, there's no way of telling which spells will stick and which won't. It could take weeks, months, or even years before we know if the portal's open. Red suddenly stormed down the hall, but stopped when she saw Alex and Mother Goose talking behind a pillar. Hey, Isabella. Red, what's wrong? Mother Goose asked her. Are you just sad about Charlie being pro-frog, or has Claudia swallowed one of the pixies again? I was on the balcony, feeling sorry for myself when I spotted something, Red said with bright eyes. I might be hallucinating from all the misfortune happening to me, but I could swear I just saw Connor running toward the palace. Mother Goose jerked her head back to Alex. Or perhaps the portal's open and we're gonna know in a matter of minutes, she said, finishing her previous thought. Let's go to the balcony? The three of them ran down the hall and emerged into the grand balcony of the fairy palace. They scanned the gardens below until they saw a familiar young man running toward them. Connor! Alex screamed. Seeing her brother running through the gardens put her in a complete state of shock, as if she was seeing a ghost. Was she really seeing him, or had the misfortune of the day really caused her to hallucinate too? Alex! Connor yelled up at her. He was wheezing and sweaty, like he had been running for hours. I have to tell you something. His voice faded away and his eyes rolled back into his head, and Connor fainted on the spot. Without missing a beat, Alex ran off the balcony through the palace and into the gardens to her brother's side. She knelt on the ground next to him and placed his head in her lap. Mother Goose and Red arrived right after her. Is he dead? Red asked, hiding behind Mother Goose. Connor, can you hear me? Alex said to her unconscious brother. Can you hear me? And Mother Goose removed her flask from her hat and splashed his face with the liquid inside. Connor stirred to life and sat up quickly. The burns, he said, wiping the liquid out of his eyes. What is wrong with you? Sorry, but that does usually do the trick, Mother Goose said, and Alex instantly broke into tears upon seeing that he was all right. She had spent months convinced she would never see him in person again, and here he was, sitting on the ground in front of her. She wrapped her arms around his ribs and cried into his chest. Connor, you're here. You're actually here, she sobbed. I've never been so happy to see someone in my entire life.
He was panting and still found the strength to hug her back. "It's good to see you too, Alex," he huffed. Mother Goose interrupted their reunion. Hey, kid, if you're here, I'm assuming that means..." "Yeah, the portal's open," Connor said breathlessly. "And the army, they're here too." Mother Goose suddenly went as pale as a ghost. She tipped her head back and drank whatever was left in that flask. Alex didn't understand what they were talking about. "Connor, what army?" she asked. "And what have you been running from?" "It's a really long story," Connor said. "But first, I have 2 friends from the other world who helped me find the portal. They're in the woods somewhere behind me. They couldn't run anymore, so I left them behind, and we gotta find them and send them home as soon as possible." "I'm on it," Mother Goose said, and she whistled for Lester. A couple moments later, the giant goose swooped down from the tower of the palace and landed on the ground next to them. Lester was just as surprised to see Connor as the rest of them were. "Squawk?" Lester squawked. "Hey, buddy, long time no see," Connor said and rubbed Lester's long neck. Mother Goose hopped aboard the gander and they took off into the sky to find Connor's friends. Connor got to his feet. He was still having a hard time catching his breath. Froggy appeared at the top of the palace's front steps and looked across the gardens. He was amazed by what he saw. "Connor?" he asked. "Is that really you?" "Yeah, Connor's back," Red called to him. "The porthole has been, reopened or something." Froggy leapt across the gardens and gave his friend a giant hug. He didn't care how Connor had managed to return. He was just happy something good was coming out of this day. "Hey, Froggy," Connor said. "It's so good to see you all again." "You look flustered, old chap," Froggy said. "What's the matter?" "Please tell us what's wrong," Alex pleaded. "You're starting to scare me." Connor took a few deep breaths to calm his racing heart, and then he told them what was happening. He started with his trip to Germany, the warning the Brothers Grimm had left in their last story, and he explained how he tried to get a hold of Alex, but he eventually contacted Mother Goose. He filled them in on how the Brothers Grimm had tricked the Grande Armée into an enchanted portal, and Connor told them about his trip across Europe to find the portal and see if it was open, with Bree and Emmerich's help. And then, to their absolute horror, he told them about the army of thousands of men that had arrived in the Land of Stories after 200 years. They were all at a loss for words. None of them wanted to believe the horrible week was getting gravely worse than they could have ever thought. "Oh my gosh," Alex said. "This is unbelievable." "Yeah, tell me about it," Connor said. "It's been a rough couple of days." Hearing this confused Alex. "A couple of days?" she clarified. "Wait, you said you tried contacting me during the ball?" "Yeah," Connor said, and he rolled his eyes, remembering his attempts. "Must have been a pretty busy ball since you couldn't speak to me for days." I'm sorry about that. I was occupied with a lot of things," Alex said, not wanting to get into them, "but the ball was almost a month ago. Connor, you've been in that portal for weeks." Just when Connor's heart had calmed down, it started racing again. Emmerich's suspicion was right. The soldiers weren't the only ones who had lost track of time while they were in the portal. No wonder they had been so discombobulated when they arrived. "Oh no," Connor said. "That means that Bree and Emmerich have been away from their families for a month?" "Once Mother Goose brings them back, we'll take them to my chambers and send them home using our old Land of Stories book," Alex decided. "It should be working again since the portal's reopened." A question suddenly came to Connor's mind. "But Mother Goose never explained to me why the portal's been reopened," he said. "Do any of you know how or why this is happening?" Alex looked gloomily to Froggy and Red, and they went silent. Connor could tell they knew something he didn't, something important. "What is it?" Connor said. "Has something else happened that I don't know about?" And Alex took a deep breath before breaking the news to him. "Connor, the portal's open for the same reason that Froggy's a frog again," she said. "Grandma's magic is fading because, well, Grandma is dying." Connor felt like he had been punched in the stomach. He fell to his knees and his eyes darted around the gardens surrounding him. This could not be happening. He had risked so much in the other world trying to save his loved ones, only to find out he couldn't save his grandmother after all. It was like he was trapped in a nightmare that he could not wake up from. "Grandma can't die," Connor said, and tears formed in his eyes. She's the fairy godmother. Fairies don't die." Telling him was almost harder than hearing it herself. Apparently they do," Alex said through her own tears. "How long does she have?" he whimpered. "There's no way for us to know," Alex said. Esmeralda said as long as there's still magic left inside her, there's always a chance she could pull through, but it looks unlikely since all of her spells are fading. A sudden gust of air blew by them as Mother Goose and Lester returned. They had found Bree and Emmerich and safely brought them to the fairy kingdom. The two were beside themselves as they looked around the majestic gardens and stunning palace. They had never seen such a beautiful place. "Wow, you do not see something like this every day," Emmerich said. "Now this is what I was expecting," Bree said happily, and Mother Goose hopped down from Lester and helped them off the large bird. They joined the others all around Connor. "That's a very big frog," Emmerich said when he saw Froggy standing there, and he stepped behind Bree to hide from him. "Hey, Alex," Bree said sheepishly. She almost hadn't recognized her. "I don't know if you even remember me, but we were in social studies together in 7th grade. You look great, by the way. Nice palace." "Hey, Bree," Alex said, vaguely remembering her. "Thanks for helping my brother find that portal." "Yeah, no worries," Bree said. "My schedule was pretty open." Connor tearfully looked up at Mother Goose. "You didn't tell me that the portal was open because Grandma was sick," he said. Mother Goose let out a long sigh. "I'm sorry, Sea Dog. I didn't think that I should be the one to tell you," she said, and Connor looked away from her. "No, you never want to take responsibility for anything," he said coldly, and Mother Goose went quiet and shamefully looked to the ground. He was right. Bree and Emmerich fell silent too. They weren't sure what kind of drama they had even walked into. "Would it make you feel better if you saw her?" Alex asked her brother. "She's resting in her room." Connor shook his head. He wanted to take care of his guilt before he moved on to grief. "No, I want to get Bree and Emmerich home first," he said. "I don't want to expose them to more than I already have." Alex led them into the palace and up the stairs to her chambers. She retrieved her old Land of Stories book with its emerald cover and gold writing from the special spot on her bookshelf. She placed a large book in the center of her bed. She tapped it 3 times with the tip of her crystal wand, but nothing happened. She tried it twice more, but got the same result. "I don't understand," she said. "If the portal's open, why isn't the book working?" Mother Goose picked up the book and inspected every inch of it. Her eyes lit up as she came to a sudden realization. "Because the portal's still halfway closed," she explained. "Your grandmother's magic faded enough for the portal to open on the other side, but not enough for it to open on this side. It's like a doorway, and it's only been unlocked on one side." "So you're saying Bree and Emmerich are stuck here?" Connor asked. The situation grew more terrible by the hour. "For the time being," Mother Goose said. "Wait a second," Alex said, and she looked up to all the guests in her room. Her eyes were wide and a slow smile appeared. "This is actually good news." "How could this possibly be good news?" Connor asked. "Because if the portal's closed on our side, it means there's still a little bit of magic left in Grandma," she said happily.
Hey. Oh, hi. Oh, hi, little angel. Good morning. Are you awake? Or you want some more sleepies? Are you awake or you want more sleepies? Do you want to go play for the next chapter? Hi, little angel. What do you want to do? You want to sleep or you want to play? It's only 9:06. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? You're awake. You want to play? You want to go in your playpen? Oh, you're scratching the chair? Does that make a fun sound? Yeah? Should we go to the playpen? You want to read the next chapter? It's a scary one. Yeah, it's a scary chapter, huh? Okay. Whee! Boom, boom. You want to go in here? Hi. Hi. You're in there and I'm over here. What do you think of that? Is that silly?
Let's see how she handles this. She's never really been in there alone before. I mean, like, for the few minutes that it takes me to set everything up, she has, but never, like... She seems fine.
Are you playing? Hi. Are you having fun in there? Are your toys in there?
The door to the playpen, they are sushi jammies, yeah. The door to the playpen is open, but it takes her like 5 minutes to get across the threshold of it. So, I mean, I could go over there and shut it, but I'm gonna leave it open because I don't want to get up right this second because I'm a lazy bones. And also because, like I said, I know she can't get out fast. So I could get to her before she can get out.
You're okay being in there? I'm over here.
She seems fine, right? Should we just read? I mean, this would be a revelation for us if she could play and we could read. Oh my God. That's my dream for her as a toddler. Yeah. That her next phase would be playing while we read. Oh, and I could sit in a chair. Troll Bella just fell down. I don't know how it happened either. Don't look at me like I did that. I didn't touch it. How did that happen? You didn't do it either. You were over there. The book was over there. There was a book on the table. It just jumped off the table. Troll Bella. Troll Bella just jumped off the table, literally. Anyway. Chapter 16. The Masked Man of Pinocchio Prison. Dun dun dun! Glasses. Thank you, Amanda. The Masked Man of Pinocchio Prison. Are you ready for this? She's smiling. She thinks it's funny. I see your little tongue. You have a cute tongue. Can you do that? Yeah, you can. You have a lot of control. All right. Pinocchio Prison had just been restored following the Enchantress's vicious attack when it was faced with another threat. Like a bolt of lightning, the Grand Armée charged toward the fortress in the early hours of the morning and unleashed the full power of its 19th century artillery. The heavy spiked doors of the prison were blasted to smithereens by the army's cannons. Only 200 enchanted wooden soldiers guarded the prisoners inside, and they were no match for the army of thousands of Frenchmen invading the prison. The Grand Armée forced its way inside, and the wooden soldiers were blown to bits by a volley of rifle fire. Yikes. Yikes. After the wooden soldiers were completely obliterated, the smoke began to clear. General Marquis stepped inside the prison and had a look around at his newest conquest. Pinocchio Prison was 30 stories high and open on the inside like a cylinder. From the center of the ground floor, the general could see the floors going up as various creatures were locked inside their cells above him. The prisoners were a rowdy bunch consisting of ogres, witches, trolls, goblins, elves, animals, men, and women alike. Some welcomed the French soldiers who had destroyed the wooden guards by banging on their chains against the bars of the cells. Others cowered in fear, afraid that they would be the next target. Nothing was known about the intruders. They spoke and dressed differently from anyone the prisoners had ever seen, and judging by their weapons, the prisoners could only assume these men were soldiers of a very dark magic. This is so cute. It's precious. The remains of the wooden soldiers were piled in the center of the prison. Many pieces, such as the legs and hands, still twitched. The general poured lamp oil over the pile of the fallen and lit it on fire so that the prisoners above could watch the guards who had held them captive burn. General Marquis circled the flames and a hush fell over the prison. "Good morning," the general said to the prisoners above. "I am the General Marquis of the Grand Armée of the French Empire. I am certain many of you have never heard of the Empire and its army before, so I would like to change that now. Where we come from, we are known as one of the greatest military forces in history. We have dominated every territory in our path and have defeated every nation that stood in our way. And now, we have come to your world to claim it as our own." The prisoners grew uncomfortable in his presence. The general didn't need to say anything further to convince them that he was a cunning and powerful man. No, they could sense it. I know, it's crazy, right? "Where we come from, we have a phrase," the general continued. "The enemy of my enemy is my friend," we say. Today I would like to give each of you a chance to make friends with the Grand Armée. We offer you a chance to join our conquest and be cleared of your crimes. Help us fight against the people who imprison you. Help us seize this world in the name of France and be a part of the French Empire. The majority of the prisoners cheered at what he was offering. "Or you can stay in here and rot as intended," the general said. "The choice is yours." The prison vibrated as the prisoners roared with delight.
Anything was better than spending another day in the prison, even joining that army. Finally, they could experience the freedom and revenge that they had only dreamt about. Colonel Baton, along with Captain Delange and Lieutenant Rambert, recruited criminals one cell at a time. The inmates were given the option of pledging their allegiance to the French Empire or remaining locked in their cell. And to the general's pleasure, most of the prisoners waited with bated breath to pledge their allegiance and be freed from their cells. Yikes. She just picked up one of her library books. It's called Never Touch a Dragon, and she's touching the dragon, so... Only one prisoner gave the commanders an answer that they weren't expecting. His cell was at the very top of the prison, and he supplied them with a message for the general that was too enticing to ignore. General Moki, Colonel Baton said, "This is a prisoner who wishes to speak with you, sir." The general was irritated that Baton would even bring him such a request. "And what makes this man worthy of my time?" "He wishes to help you," Baton said, "and he says without his help you cannot conquer the fairy tale world." Hearing the prisoner's message infuriated the general. Who would dare be so bold as to give General Jacques Marquis an ultimatum? But the general was so determined in his quest for domination that he allowed his curiosity to outweigh his ego. He decided to speak with the prisoner and see if he had anything worthwhile to contribute. Baton led the general to the very top of the prison and showed him the cell of the daring man. A large plaque was displayed on the wall beside his cell, and it read, "The Masked Man, sentenced to life in Pinocchio prison for attempted robbery of the fairy godmother." Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's not good, guys. I know I'm making light with the voice, but that can't be good, right? Life in prison. You have to be pretty bad to get life in prison, especially in the fairy tale world, right? 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 The general peered into the cell to see the prisoner for himself. The masked man was very tall but frail. He wore a tattered suit and his tie was torn in half. A gray sack was over his head and it concealed his face. Holes were cut out around the eyes and mouth. "You're the masked man, I take it?" the general said. "Hello, General," he said. "I thoroughly enjoyed your speech down there, boy. You sure know how to make an entrance. Did they teach you that in your, military training?" The general glared at this ridiculous man. "I do not have time for games," he said. "Make sure this man stays in his cell." The general stormed off, but the masked man desperately reached for him through the bars and begged him to stay. "No, wait, General," he pleaded. "I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm only trying to help you. I have information that will lead you to certain victory." On this, the general turned on his heels and faced the prison. "How can a man like you possibly help a man like me?" "Because you're not from this world, and I am," the masked man said. "I know my way around it, and I know how it operates. You have a very impressive army, but that won't be enough to take over. You're going to need something bigger, something much more powerful if you're going to stand up to the fairies, and I know where you can get it." The general took a step closer to the man. His interest sparked, although his face didn't show it. "You have 2 minutes of my time," he said. "Explain yourself." The masked man rubbed his hands together, and he began. He was a very odd and animated man and used lots of hand gestures as he spoke, most of which didn't go along with what he was saying. It was like his hands and his mouth were describing 2 different things. "The first thing you should know about this world is the history," he said. "The past is divided in 3 ages, the Dragon Age, the Age of Magic, and the Golden Age, which we are living in now. Hundreds of years ago, the Dragon Age, well, this world was a mess. It was filled with tyrants and kings and evil sorcerers and, obviously, dragons. Lots and lots of dragons. They were nearly unstoppable, and they reproduced like rabbits." "What does this history lesson have to do with me?" the general asked. He was starting to feel like his time was being wasted, and that angered him. "I'm getting there, General," the masked man assured him. "Like I was saying, there were dragons everywhere destroying everything, and then the fairies got together and put a stop to them. That's how they came to power, and we entered the world Age of Magic. They formed the Happily Ever After Assembly, and there was peace on Earth, yada yada yada. Now the fairy godmother, the head of the assembly, and the fairies have been in charge since the dragons went extinct, and no one has been able to overthrow them because..." He was hoping the general would play along and finish his sentence, but the Marquis didn't break his stoic expression. "Because dragons," the masked man said with a mystical hand gesture. No one has been able to overthrow the fairies because you need a dragon. And I know where to get one. General Marquis had expected his left eye to start twitching from the moment the masked man started speaking. But it didn't. There must have been some truth to what he was saying. So where do we get this dragon? The general asked. And the masked man dropped his hands in an equally serious expression. It grew on his face. Let me out of this cell first, and then I'll show you. Hey, Nikki. Hey, bye. Hi and bye. General Marquis was impressed by the masked man's quick and calculated scheme, but he figured there was much more to this man than met the eye. He wanted to know more about him before he unlocked the door of his cell. How long have you been in this prison? He asked. A decade, the masked man said. And why were you sentenced to life for attempted burglary? The general pressed. Surely even in this world that is an awfully harsh punishment for a relatively small crime. The masked man lowered his head shamefully, not for committing the crime, but for failing to accomplish it. It was what I was trying to steal that cemented the sentence, he said, and then he looked into the general's eyes. You and I are very similar men, General. We know an opportunity when we see one, otherwise neither of us would be standing here now. There was an eagerness in the masked man's pale blue eyes. The general found this alluring. Perhaps the man could be of service after all. One last question, the general said. Why do you wear a bag over your head? The masked man smiled coyly. Same reason you wear that uniform, he said, to cover something I don't want the rest of the world to see. Normally, a statement like this would outrage the general, but this time it made him smile. The masked man was a strange man, but he was one of the few that the general could identify with. Colonel Beton, Marquis ordered, removes this man from his cell, and as soon as we leave the prison, he will organize a traveling party, and he will guide us to a dragon. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, that was amazing. Whatever you're doing is amazing. Like, I love this phase where you're like sitting in your playpen playing with your stuff. Love that for her. I mean, like, that I don't have to sit on the floor. Great. I mean, like, I'm happy to play with you, but it's reading time, right? That all being said, the next chapter is too long for us to finish, and because we have to go to UCLA today, I cannot go overtime today. It's amazing for both of us, right? She's just playing with her toys. So we'll read more on Monday. Do you guys want to see some of the books that we got for Baby Book Club? We're not going to read them right now, or maybe we'll read one right now. Should we read one right now? Here are some of the books. I don't understand why dragon is the only way to defeat fairies. I also don't understand that. Yeah, I have no idea, actually. I don't even remember from when I read it. So I couldn't even pretend to tell you because I don't remember. So some of the books that we got for Baby Book Club include Superhero ABCs, Axolotl and Axolotl. Look at the colors on this book. I got this one specifically because of how colorful and vibrant it is. I mean, like, what a world. The Hungry Caterpillar's First Signs, Llama Llama Colors, Never Touch a Dragon, speaking of dragons. And the last one we got is Soft Touch Doggy. All great books that we're gonna read, right? We're gonna have some fun reading these books for Baby Book Club. It's gonna be so fun. Is that gonna be fun? Yeah. So we have a lot of really excellent stuff coming to Baby Book Club this coming week. And then we'll take them back to the library and we'll go get more. She's going to love those books, and we're all going to love those books. Everybody's kids are going to love those books, and our kids at heart are going to love the books too. All right, so I will keep you posted on what is going on with the UCLA thing. I think it's going to be cool, and we'll be able to tell you all about it. We also have some experiments coming over the next couple of days, some reviews coming over the next couple of days, and like I said, a lot of supplies are being mailed out. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you later. Mwah! You say, mwah!